Good morning, students. Today we will study T.S. Eliot's poem Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. As we know that this is considered one of the first modernist poem. Segments of this poem, often called the first modernist poem, and this poem was appeared in 1906 in the magazine Harvest Advocate. And T.S. Eliot later read the poem to Ezra Pound in England and Pound arranged to have it published in the prestigious American journal that is called uh, Poetry. And this was in America, it was published in 1915 and it was included in the poem Prufrock and Other Observation, Eliot's first book of poetry, which was published in 1971. So, one second. Okay. So first of all, I just want to tell you that Eliot's interest in music is made evident in the title, but the term love song is used loosely here. The poem centers on the feeling and thoughts of a certain person, J. Alfred Prufrock, as he walks to meet a woman for tea and consider a question he feels compelled to ask her. Some something along the lines of Will you marry me? In fact, in this poem, he never arrives at tea, let alone sings to woman. The poem is composed of Prufrock's own neurotic, if lyrical, associations. Indeed, over the course of the poem, he sets up analogies between himself and various familiar cultural figures, among them Hamlet. This establishes a connection with Hamlet's famous soliloquy to be or to be not. That is the question. Prufrock's doubt about he deserves the answer he desires from the woman transforms the poem into a kind of interior monologue or a soliloquy in which to be or not to be is for to be what and what or what I am to ask this woman to marry me. Seen as simply the romantic analogy of the young man. Eliot was 18 when he was uh, working on this poem, or this poem, Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, would have a distinctly innate appeal. However, the poem was moved from the specific situation to explore the peculiarity, modernist alienation of the individual in society to a point where internal emotions alienation occurs and a soliloquy in which man speaks as if alone can begin. Let's go then, you and I. So now I'll just study out the poem and then explain. So the poem starts with an epigraph, and this epigraph actually this epigraph is taken from Dante's book Divine Comedy. Okay, and what is the meaning of this whole epigraph is I just want to read out and uh, if I thought my answer were to be one who could ever return to the world, this flame would have no more. But since no one has ever returned alive from this death, if what I hear the truth without fear of infamy, I answer him. This is the meaning of these six lines which were written by uh, Dante in his poem Divine Comedy. And these words are spoken by a lost soul damned to hell for the attempt to buy absolution in advance of committing a crime. So this correlates with Fork needs to know the answer to the question he wants to ask as a condition of asking it, or perhaps in order for Prufrock to be able to ask the question, he would have to not care what the answer would be. In that case, the answer wouldn't matter. So this is the epigraph of this poem. And now the poem begins. Let's go then, you and I, when the evening is spread out against the sky, like a peasant etherized upon a table. Let's go through certain half-deserted street, the muttering retreat of restless nights in one night sea hotels. Now the poet invites just the persona Alfred Prufrock, Alfred Prufrock, he just invites and tells his beloved that now both of us should go out and then he describes what kind of evening it is. Evening is like a patient etherized upon a table, and then they just cross the half deserted streets. Mean half deserted mean only a few people were going and coming in the streets. Of restless nights in one cheap hotel, and they pass their time in a cheap hotel. Second stanza. And sawdust restaurants with oyster shell, streets that follow like a tedious argument of insidious intent. Prufrock, the persona of the poem, issues his invitation to an unspecific uh, you to go with him to an yet unfinished place to establish when they will be going. He introduced the disconnection simile, disconnected concern simile like a patient ethers on a table. So this peculiar use of simile reflects immediately back to the persona. For the sky itself would probably never be like this. However, before looking up to the sky might indeed perceive it pressing back down upon him in such a way that he would feel like it was sprayed out upon a table. The word ethrized indicates the sense of helplessness. So the root, this routine you will be taking to the rowdy part of the city where cheap hotels predominate along with the lower class dining establishment. Muttering retreat suggests places where people will go to be alone, speak in low voices, so their private conversations will not be audible to others. And then the phrase one night refers to the hotels where lovers meet in secret, and the reference to oyster shells carries with, uh, with it the connection of sexuality as there are a food said to improve sexual stamina. So these lines represents these things that how people lovers meet in hotels and what they eat. Okay, now come to the next one. To lead you to an overwhelming question and do not ask what is it. Let's go and make our visit. In the room, the women come and go talking of Michelangelo. So the streets are further described by a simile that indicates that even once you pass through them, the the things just pass through them, the things you have seen there continue to affect you, specifically the idea of people engaged in the romantic or sexual encounters in the hotels and restaurants. Then this then affects Rupert thought about where he is going, causing him to consider what he characterized as an overwhelming question. The use of ellipsis indicates that you who accomplished Rupert has asked what that question would be. The rhymed couplet of I sky, street, retreat, hotel list sales, argument, intent, and what is and visit along with the representation of the word streets create an emotional music in keeping with the idea of a song and thus serve to carry the reader into profound emotional states. And then in the room, women come and go and talk about Michelangelo. So the reference to the visit presented in presiding stanza causes Prufrock to look forward in his mind's eye to room he is walking forward, where he imagines women preparing the tea and talking some intellectual or artistic subjects quite at odds with the thoughts he has been having. Okay, so come to the next lines. The yellow fog that rubs its back upon the window panes, the yellow smoke that rubbed its muzzle on the window panes, licked its tongue into the corners of the evening, lingered upon the pools that stands in drain. So the near repetition of these two lines that Prufrock's attention has returned from the imagined room to the actual surrounding. It is evening, foggy, and his attention focuses on the fog mixed with chimney smoke and then takes off in a metaphorical process that equates the movement of the fog with the mo- movement of some seemingly cat-like creatures around the structure of the city at evening. Prufrock's lyrical music here reflects the dream-like emotional state evoked by the fog. So come to the next stanza. Let fall upon its back, and scourge that falls from chimney slip by the terrace, made a suddenly leap and sing its soft October night, curled once about the house and fall asleep. So, meaning is this is time of October, and then next one is, and indeed there will be time for the yellow smoke that slides along the street, rubbing its back upon window panes. There will be time to prepare a face to meet the faces that you meet. There will be time to murder and create. There and time for all the workers and days of hand that lift and drop equation on your plate. So Prufrock's reverie on the smoke or fog reminds him that he dreamed or imagined activities has no correlation to action or events in real time. So he determines that just as there is time for the fog and smoke, there is time to go himself adjusted to what he is about to do. However, at the fourth repetition of there will be time, he is once more focusing on where he is going and what he is about to do there, and he is overwhelmed once again. Eliot exaggerates Prufrock's emotional state by paralleling to it those associations with act of murder and creation. At this point, the phrase "there will be time" transmutes into preparation of the word time, like a clock ticking the seconds of the present into Prufrock's past. And the next one is time for you and time for me, and time yet to 100. So time for you and time for me, and time yet for 100 indecisions and for 100 visions and revisions. Before talking to a toast and see in the room, the women uh, came and go talking of Michelangelo. So the reference of the work and days is on a 18th century poem by Hesiod about a Greek farmer who urges his brother to work as hard as he himself does. Prufrock imagines other hands working harder than his and will ultimately somehow necessitates him asking the overwhelming question. However, he maintains he has time yet for 100 dreams, visions of cat like hogs for 100 corrections to his thought process before he arrives 40. And the reference uh, about above to having tea presents him with the repeated image in the rhymed couplet, especially this in the room, the women come and go talking of Michelangelo. So, dear students, first part completes here, and we will complete this poem in the next part. Okay, thank you.